Welcome to the All the Answers podcast. Now, when you hear what the topic is, I don't want you to run away and be like, that's not for me, because we are going to talk about, if not the number one, this has to be in the top three biggest things, most important things that you can do in your life. You're going to hear the topic and be like, maybe not, I don't think so, but hang out, listen to us, because we are going to talk about dressing for success. We're going to talk about your appearance. And first off, I'm going to try and sell you, and this is not a commercial. I've got one of the greatest clothing people in the country, if not in the world. They are not paying me. I'm not paying them. I just love these guys. I love what they're all about. But I want to explain to you guys why I'm having Peter Roberti on the show today. And I stumbled upon this at a pretty young age, and I'm just going to call it dumb luck. When you are dressed appropriately, life comes down to, we don't know how long we live. We also don't know how many moments we get in life. And what I mean by moments is you meet somebody, you have an opportunity, something goes by, somebody's like, man, we need to hire that person, or let's give so-and-so a raise. Your appearance has so much to do with that. And you can look this up. 93% of communication, 93% of communication is nonverbal. A big part of that 93% is how you look. So my guest today is Peter Roberti from Adrian, Jules. You guys are from New York. You guys have been doing this multi-generational, correct?
Yeah, multi-generation. Yeah.
Knows a thing or two about looking good, about styling yourself, about making sure your appearance is great. Whether you end up shopping at Adrian Jules or not, listen to what we're going to say, okay? Looking good is not out of your reach. The investment you make in yourself, I'm going to talk about it. I've got some notes.
Sure.
First of all, I think dry cleaning's a scam, by the way. Spend your money, right, on good clothes that fit well and just take care of them. You don't need to buy cheap clothes and send them to the dry cleaners every week, but we can talk about that. Maybe you do. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think take care of your stuff, right, and just buy nicer stuff. But Peter, it's an honor and a privilege to have you on here. I think this is probably the least talked about subject and probably the single biggest way you can move the needle in your life, the easiest way. We are not talking millions and millions of dollars. We're not talking about having to go to the gym for a year. You don't have to take steroids. You don't need to get a PhD in something to look your best and to have the world start to send stuff your way. So Peter, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Matt. This is what an honor. I'm super excited about this and super grateful for being here. So thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Awesome.
tell the people, for those that don't know about Adrian Jules, how the heck did you guys get into this? And it's a tough business to be in. Why do you stay in it? And what makes you so passionate about making people like me and everybody else out in the world looking their best so that they can be their best?
Yeah, so a little bit about the company. It was founded by my grandfather over 60 years ago. I got involved when I was 14 years old. What we do is complete custom. So similar to your process that you teach, we ask a bunch of questions, find out a little bit more about the guy and what's important to them, how they want to dress, their lifestyle, and then we build garments for them. And we're a part of so many important moments of their lives, which is super special. That's what keeps us coming back. So the clothes are made right in New York. We got about 60 tailors there. About 100 people that work for us.
I imagine you have a lot of joy and also a lot of frustration, because I bet you work with people, and once you work with them, they come back to you and are like, oh my gosh, I'm now VP of my company, or I'm a real estate agent and I'm selling more deals and I just had the best date of my life, or whatever it is. And you're like, duh. And then the frustration on the side of people that you talk to, or people that maybe come and they don't end up doing business with you guys.
Sure.
Talk to me about the changes that you see in your clients when they start looking better and feeling better.
Well, I couldn't agree more with your statement before that, 93% of it is nonverbal. And I think that the way you dress, is direct correlation with how people view yourself and how they treat you in the world, both in business, and whether it's for business, whether it's for, going out, on a date, you just feel better. They treat you differently. So that right there, I think that understanding how you want people to view you is so important. And that's what we get to do with individuals every day.
Yeah, and guys, okay, I'm sorry, but I'm going to be honest with you. My South Boston mother, when she smoked the long cigarettes, life isn't fair. Life is not fair. And I'm sorry, people are going to judge you. I know in today's society, that's not cool, and we're all supposed to love everybody, and it's never going to happen. Like when I travel, when I'm working, and I'm dressed like this, oh, upgraded room. Oh, right to the front line. And I'm sorry, but it's just the way the world works, right? I'm the same guy if I'm wearing a mustard stain t-shirt than I am if I'm wearing a sport coat or tie. You don't necessarily have to wear a tie, but if I'm dressed appropriately, people all of a sudden go, okay, that person's important. That person probably has good manners. Hopefully, if you don't have good manners, get good manners, right? And it's like a walking, talking resume of yourself. And I figured that out as a broke kid. I didn't even have any money as a kid. I had a white polo shirt, kind of a famous story. I was an alternate on that show, The Apprentice, years and years ago. And part of the reason they picked me as I shared my story, I had a white JCPenney's polo shirt. I went to Sofro Fabrics. I bought a fake Izod alligator, right? I glued it to my shirt. But yes, although I had no money, I was the 12-year-old walking around Boulder, Colorado. I learned how to iron. Nobody knew. It was the same. They probably thought I had 14 white Izod shirts. I had one. I learned how to iron it. I wore whatever tough skin, I guess they call them khakis now. Sure. But I made sure that I looked good because I never knew if somebody was going to be like, hey, we need somebody to help out at the warehouse, or do you want a job, kid? Or
Absolutely.
I was buying hot dogs at the golf course by my house, and I was never a member for years. It took them forever to figure it out because I blended right in with everybody. And if I had dressed to what I thought I was, right, I don't think I would have gotten near the opportunities that I got. And it makes me sad, but I'm not in the business. It's got to be almost heartbreaking to you when you see people that could be an Adrian Jules client. And I feel like it's got to be challenging for you because when it comes out of your mouth, they think, oh, he's just trying to sell me a sport coat. And you're not. You're really trying to help them.
Yeah, absolutely. Through clothing, we help individuals become the best version of themselves.
100%.
And I think that with clothing and the way that they dress, you have control over that. There's so many other things that you don't have
You have no control over.
And that's one thing that you do. So why not put your best foot forward? Why not, dress the way that, dress for the job that you want, dress, turn it up a couple notches in terms of how you dress and how you look. Yeah. Like that just feels like, especially if you can control that, like it just, why not? Why wouldn't you do that?
It
that makes
breaks. Sense. Like I'm a big car person, right? And I love watches.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. There was many a year where I had a piece of crap car, right? And I couldn't afford a watch, but I had a Navy
100%.
suit, right? And it's like and it's amazing. People are like, I got to go out and spend all this money on a car. Sorry, guys. Park the car down the street. Right?
As soon as you go into the whether it be a convention or you go into the network,
your car's not there.
They don't know what you drove, but they know
what you're wearing. And I think, honestly, your clothing, although I love watches and everything, I'm just going to say the watches for me, and you have nice watches. Watches are nice. They're a nice way to reward ourselves. They make us feel good about ourselves. But come on, if you're dressed like the way you are right now, you don't necessarily have to have an expensive watch on.
I think that it's interesting. Right now, we're kind of in an interesting point of time that I'm working with guys, and I want to just touch on this a little bit. Guys are a little bit confused on what they should be wearing. You know, like they're like, well, should I be wearing a sport coat and slacks? Should I be wearing a nice suit? Like, so, helping, kind of navigate that so that they still owning the room. They're still commanding the room. Maybe it's in a sport coat and slack and an open collared shirt. Like, guys really, just because in the last 3-4 years, like, we're kind of seeing a shift on guys wanting to understand what they wear, what they should be wearing. So so that's what we're really helping out guys right now.
Can we talk about something? And I was less than skillful on this.
Sure.
And when I figured this out, honest to goodness, the next day, my life changed dramatically.
Sure.
I figured out I should be dressed well, right?
Okay.
I was right in the strike zone of an Adrian Jules, whatever the Adrian Jules were in my area, right? You got to come, you got to buy some clothes from us. No, I'm not doing it, and I'm not doing it, right? And I was like, I can go to Zara or whatever and buy some suits off the rack. That was me 15, I don't know how, maybe even longer than that. Right? Gosh, I'm getting old. Probably 20 years ago, right? I discovered Zara, and I was like, I'll just buy a Zara suit off the rack. It's good. It was decent. I started to notice my closet was filled with all of these cheaper outfits that I didn't love, and I didn't look great. And what I want to talk to you about is not only dressing well is important, but I think, and I'm curious to get your opinion on this, the fit is so much more important than anything else. And I get frustrated because I'll see people walking out of Neiman Marcus with not that your jackets cost $10,000, but you can easily spend $10,000 on a jacket at a department store, and it fits them like crap, right? And if you can just invest in working with somebody like you, and instead of buying 20 different things, start just by one.
Yeah,
buy one thing and have it fit you well.
Couldn't agree more. I think that it's super important that I would recommend guys, especially if they, there's a lot of people that they can't work with us or they're from out of state. I recommend guys go to the best, go to somebody that is a good dresser, and then ask them where they go. And then find a tailor. Ask them who their tailor is. It doesn't have to be a custom tailor, but a well-known tailor. And make sure they've been in the business for 10, 20, 30 years. And that tailor, that's like your lawyer, that's like your coach, like that person you're trusting with your image and how the public's going to see you. That person is so important in terms of how your business is.
And skip the heartache, guys, because I've made this mistake. The worst thing that's going to happen if you're in New York, go see Adrian Jules. The worst thing that's going to happen is they're going to have a nice conversation with you, and you can always say no. But what I noticed with the tailor thing when I was buying stuff off the rack is I would buy call it a $250, $300 suit, and then to have it fit me properly, now we're at another $250, $300, right? When if I had just had something made, and I know there's some wizards out there, but you tell me, if they're starting from a blank in making it to my body versus taking something in, letting it out, it's all the difference in the world if it's made for you instead of made for a rack and then to try and make it fit you.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you when you're consulting, when you're taking this consultative approach, you get to navigate how they want to dress and what their lifestyle is. So you get to pick fabrics in terms on ounces, weights, material, how they're going to dress, who they're going to be dressing in front of. So that plays a role when you're working with a custom clothier. Now, not everybody could take that route. So, starting with some staple pieces, like a nice navy blue suit, a nice sport coat, some good tailored jeans, a nice set of trousers, gray trousers, and then going to a tailor, and having them adjust it, I think is an approachable route until you could get to somebody like myself or somebody like that does custom.
What is, if somebody's thinking about dipping the toe or wants to work their way up to your world, and I don't, you have your black belt in this, I'm just a guy that wears clothes.
Sure.
What are some of those things that every man should own? Like if I was going to give, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but if I was going to give somebody advice and they're like, I need to buy one suit. I wore this suit on purpose, guys. A nice navy suit. Navy blue.
100%.
You can never go wrong with navy blue.
Yeah.
And when you get some more money, then you can buy, I've got a gajillion jackets, right? But if you just have a nice, clean navy blue suit, you could get a white shirt, you can get a blue shirt, you can wear it with no tie, you could wear jeans on the bottom of this. What are some of the things, like if you were going to tell somebody, okay, you want to change your life, you want to start feeling better, you want to be prepared, what are some of those basic pieces that every man is going to need to basically take advantage of all these wonderful things that life has to offer for us?
That's a great question. So when I look at pieces, I think about how I want to dress. So I want to be able, especially in terms of versatility, dress for compliments and dress for power.
Okay, what does that mean?
So dressing for compliments, so let's take your navy blue suit, which I completely agree. You've got to have a navy blue suit in your wardrobe. So dressing for compliments might be, open collar. You're going to wear a nice pink shirt or a nice print, like a floral shirt with it, a nice pocket square. So you're going to go out to dinner. You're going to go out with your wife or your significant other. You're going to be dressing for compliments. You're going to be, a little more flamboyant. Dressing for power would be taking that navy blue suit, and you're going to be wearing a nice crisp white shirt. You're going to have a bold tie with it.
Maybe a red tie or a...
Exactly.
Okay.
So you could take that same suit and dress for compliments or dress for power.
Like the president is always navy suit, red tie or whatever. I mean, they're all, by the way, pick your president, go look. It's always pretty much a navy suit, red tie or blue tie.
Yes. 100%.
So that's your power.
Yeah, that's going to be dressing for power. So that's going to be your business meetings. That's going to be, where you want to command that room, make a statement. And you're going to take one suit and you could do both of those. And then anything in between. So you, when you want to dress a little bit more for compliments, you could do the lavenders, you could do the light pinks, the yellows based on the season. And then if you're going to dress more for power, maybe it's a white collar, blue shirt, white collar, white cuff. Maybe it's just a crisp white shirt, open collar with a nice white pocket square. So that taking that one garment and making it super versatile is what will allow somebody to have more range with their garments, because when you're building a foundation, that's what you want. Okay. So that'd be my go-to, my first go-to. And then
first go-to is navy suit. Okay.
Yeah. And then deciding based on your lifestyle and what industry you're in, how you want to dress more for compliments and more for power.
Okay.
And then I would do an assessment. Everybody's business and lifestyle is going to be a little bit different. So I would probably, based on the individuals that I meet with, I would say that you need some type of go-to sport coat.
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
Sure.
Because when I discovered sport coats, my whole life changed. And I'm not, guys, they're not paying. I'm just literally telling you this. Yeah. I used to think suits were suits. And back when I was single and I liked to mingle, like it was a black suit, but that's what it was cool back then. But I never even knew these sport coat things existed. Yeah. And a sport coat is so amazing because you can wear it with jeans, you can wear it with slacks, you can do so many different things with sport coats, to where with a suit, you're like, I'm committed. Also, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the length is a little bit different typically with the sport coat, a little bit shorter length.
Yep.
So it's not going to look awkward if you wear it with jeans.
Yep, correct.
What type of if somebody's like, I want my first sport coat, what should they do there?
So just touching on that. So I would, from a suit standpoint, based on your industry and what you do, I would say, okay, that would be my first piece. And if you're in a little bit more casual tech environment, then I would say this route that I'm going to explain next would be my first investment in clothing. Okay. So I would go, if you said, hey, I want to skip the suit, I would invest in a nice either navy sport coat, a navy plaid sport coat, something in the blue family. Okay.
Yeah.
Because that will go with multiple different colored trousers. It'll go with different
white, blue, tan.
Sure. I'm sorry. In terms of trousers. Yeah. So you could do white jeans if you wanted to. You could do dark navy blue jeans, dress jeans. You could do gray trousers, light gray trousers if you wanted something a little more conservative. automotive. You could do dark charcoal gray. You could do shades of tan. There's so much range that you could do with it. You could take one jacket and dress it up casual, dress it for business casual. You do so much with that. That allows somebody, and again, I'm just kind of taking the tech industry or a real estate agent, that you get so much mileage on that garment. And then what I would also, when you're communicating to your tailor or you're communicating to a custom tailor, I would think there's fabric weight. So anything below 8 ounces is going to be spring and summer weight fabric.
Okay.
And this is 100% wool. So anything below 8 ounces is spring and summer. Anything above 10 ounces is going to be fall and winter. So I would communicate to them, I would say something along the lines of, I want something that's going to be a year-round weight, so something around 9 ounces and a hard finish fabric.
Okay, year-round, guys, 9 ounces, hard finish fabric.
Or clear finish.
Okay.
Hard or clear finish.
What does that mean on the fabric?
So the finishing of the fabric. So when people think wool fabric, they think something heavy, something tweed, yeah,
okay.
Exactly. Which is 100% wool, but that's gonna be around like 13 ounces. I have 7 ounce 100% wool fabrics that we did here in Florida all day today. And those are 100% wool. Mm-hmm. So the weight of the fabric is gonna dictate the season of it, even if it's 100% wool.
Okay.
The clear finish, so you could take a 9 ounce fabric, and if it's clear finish, it's a year-round weight fabric.
Okay.
If it's a 9 ounce, 100% wool, but it's a mill finish or a loftier finish is just going to be the more generic term of it. It's got a little bit like a softer hand to it. That's going to be more for fall and winter.
Okay.
So it's got more of like a flannel finish, if that makes sense.
It totally does, and
even though the weights are exactly the same.
I want to go back to something you said
Sure.
earlier, because you said some words that triggered me. And I'm not going to put my tinfoil hat on, but I think this is a scam. And the scam is business casual.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you, as somebody that's been on both sides of the table, the employee or the person trying to sell stuff in terms of business casual, and more importantly, the buyer or the boss. I think, whether they know it or not, the folks that invented this whole Casual Friday, business casual thing, did it for 2 reasons, okay? And they're very selfish reasons. Number one, if you are dressed in, and by the way, it's not cheaper. People go out and they'll buy 1 million polo shirts.
I couldn't agree
right?
more.
And the puffy vests, right? It's like, I don't have money for a custom sport coat, but damn it, I'm going to go to Land's End and buy 11.
Yeah.
What does a Land's End puffy vest
I
go
have
for?
no idea.
Right? I don't own any. Here's why.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you, as somebody that's had to fire people, as somebody that's had to promote people, this whole business casual thing makes it really easy for employers to not get emotionally invested in the worth of that person, which makes it easy to do 2 things: not give them a raise and not give them a promotion. If you are showing up in a puffy Land's End vest every day, Scott's super nice and Scott's super fun, and Scott's great, but he doesn't need any money. Subconsciously, they're like, he doesn't need any money. Also, when it comes time to fire somebody, if there's somebody that's showing up to work I'm saying every day, most days, in either a suit, like let's say it's a casual environment, maybe a Navy suit with no tie, or a sport coat, or a nice sweater with a collar underneath it. I'm just going to tell you, as somebody that's worked for Fortune 500 companies, really hard to fire those people, because when you're in a meeting and you're like, man, we gotta cut some heads here. We gotta let some people go. Man, it's gonna suck. Scott's gonna, I'm sure Scott's still living with his parents, right? Or whoever the guy was in the puffy vest, they're gonna go. But if Andy is dressing up nicely, it's like, well, Andy, Andy's taking it serious, and Andy needs the money. And it's really weird. We think, oh, well, if I dress nice, people will think I don't need the money. And, if I dress too nice at work, nobody's going to want to do business with. If I'm a real estate agent and I show up to show a house in a sport coat that looks like it costs $2,000, they're not going to want to do business with me. It's the opposite. And I'm telling you this not as, and he's not paying me to say, I'm just telling you this as an observer. The opposite happens. Like if a real estate agent shows you a house and they're wearing a polo shirt and a puffy vest, you're like, they don't need the money. But if somebody shows up and they look like they invested in themselves, number one, we think they're professional.
Yep.
We think they're trustworthy, and we think they're credible. But then also you're like, man, this is just a normal thing for them. And I'm telling you, if you are working a regular job and you're going to an office, the best piece of job security I could ever give you is take whatever it costs, a couple $1,000 or whatever. And here's the thing, you don't need 27 pieces, okay? Although we're talking about dressing for appearance, you're making yourself feel good, but here's what you need to realize. There is no whiteboard in everybody's back room going, what did Peter wear today?
Yeah.
And as long as you can mix things up, if you have 3 really solid outfits,
Yeah.
they're not going to notice that you wore that same jacket twice this week, but what they are going to notice is you are professional, you are credible, you are trustworthy, you're the type of person we want to promote. And I'm just telling you guys, I'm really badass at what I do. I have been promoted, though, I firmly believe, because of the way I dress.
Yeah.
Probably more than once, probably more than I would like to even know. But because I showed up appropriately, I'm sorry, I got promoted. And I worked for like there was big insurance companies, and they would give you all of the, I'm not going to say the name, they give you all the logo polo shirts you wanted.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, cool, free clothes. I showed up in I hadn't figured out sport coats. I wish I had. I showed up in a Navy suit.
Yeah.
Right? And by the way, I parked my car in the back of the lot. But I showed up in a Navy suit every day. Within 90 days, I'm promoted. Another 90 days, I'm promoted. And it's just because they're like, man, you kind of look like the CEO. Like they just naturally see you there.
Continue to elevate, yeah. Yeah, and I think just to continue to touch on that, again, like what we were saying before, is that you have control over that.
100%.
And I just, it blows my mind if you're meeting somebody for the first time. Let's just talk about whether it be a financial advisor or a real estate agent. Like, why wouldn't you wear a nice sport coat, a dress slack? Like, you know, if that, okay, maybe you might be a little bit overdressed, but
I would rather be on that side of the
I
equation.
agree.
Correct?
Correct, yeah. Versus if you come in with like a polo shirt or a vest or whatever it is, and what if the guy comes in with a nice suit and tie?
Yeah.
Complete turnoff.
There's somebody out there right now listening to this, Peter, or watching this, and they're like, I don't need Adrian Jules. I don't need to talk to people like Peter Roberti. I watch Elon Musk, and he's wearing a Mars t-shirt, and Bill Gates, well, I guess Bill Gates probably did dress pretty well, but Steve Jobs always wore the turtlenecks. You're not Steve Jobs, okay? And by the way, go look at the old stuff from Elon Musk when he's needing money. He's always in a suit, right? Like, and by the way, if you already have $37 billion, congratulations. Like, but for the rest of us that need to pay our bills, I'm sorry, you don't get to dress like, a rapper or like, you're just making your life hard for yourself.
Yeah, and I would also say that, like you were touching on it, I would lose the labels. You don't need to do. You don't need. You don't need the labels. Like, just keep it.
You don't need Gucci all over.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. It's more mysterious. It's easier. And by the way, if you buy something that doesn't have all that crazy label stuff on it, guess what? 20 years from now, as long as your body stays similarly the same, right? You can still wear it. It's not trendy.
I just to build upon that, I think that clothing is an investment. You know, just like what you teach, having you as a coach, like that's an investment in yourself. Clothing is an investment if done properly.
I think by the way, and I don't want to get you to cancel your sales coaching membership, but clothing is, I would say, the fastest return on investment.
Yeah.
Fitness, right? Not necessarily a fast return on investment. Clothing, that day. Yeah. You name one gym in the world that I can walk in, same day walk out with abs. Maybe there's the Kardashians are like, I know a guy, right? It's a little sore in your faces, but clothing is the one thing that, I guess it does take some time for the piece to be designed, but once you take delivery of that piece, your life has changed.
Yeah. I think that we always say we could help open the door, but once you get through, you've got to have the right language. You got to have the right process. So I think. But
here's the thing: even if you don't have the right language or the right process, if you're not getting through the door, you're not getting through the door. I'm sorry, life's not fair. Yeah. And I want to debunk something else that bothers me. Okay. Because again, hi, thank you. If you're listening to All the Answers podcast, I got Peter Roberti from Adrian, Jules. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. But there might be some eyes rolling in the background going, it's so uncomfortable to dress nice. The shoes hurt my feet. By the way, if you're a lady and I get it, man, that sucks. But our shoes, guys, if you're complaining about wearing dress shoes or whatever, it's way worse on the 6-inch stiletto side. Here's what I mean, though. If you're like, man, I don't want to dress like that. The reason I like the puffy vest is it's super comfortable and I'm super comfortable. I get it. Okay. I understand. I'm not disputing that. I'm sure they have some comfortable stuff that can make it more comfortable for you. But I am going to tell you right here, right now, is you saying, I don't want to dress like that because it's uncomfortable and I'm not comfortable would be the same as, say, an NFL cornerback saying, I don't want to go work out. I don't want to do strength and conditioning training. I don't want to show up to practice. I'm just going to show up on Sunday and play the game. Your outfit, your appearance is the same as the uncomfortableness of being an athlete in lifting weights. Your outfit, your appearance is the same uncomfortableness. Every single brain surgeon, I'm sure, did not want to pass the medical boards, right? In life. If you want to have a good life and you want opportunities, you're going to have to do some stuff that is maybe not comfortable. And I know everybody now on the airplane is wearing their pajamas, but if you can maybe get out of that mode and go, you know what, I'm going to suffer a little bit and I'm going to put a sport coat on to go meet with this financial advisor, you're going to find that they're going to treat you with more respect. You're going to find that all of the good stuff that comes from you being presentable is grossly outweighs the fact that you're in a jacket. And we're in South Florida right now in the summertime. I'm still wearing a jacket. I'm now going to write down the weights that you told me to get, but are you always going to feel like you're wearing pajamas? No, but you're actually going to feel better because people are going to walk up. You're going to get seated at your table faster. Yeah. People are going to want to meet you. People are going to trust what you say. Yeah. There's nothing more sad than a really wonderful person with really amazing ideas that can really help make the world a better place that nobody takes seriously.
Yeah, I mean, I encourage people to test it. Go into a restaurant, wear a nice, beautiful suit, and go back the next day and go into that restaurant. See how they treat you.
I was waiting outside the podcast studio before we started because they were filming another episode. Yeah. Standing out there in this suit. Yeah. 3 different people walked by me. All 3 of them, how's your day going? How's it going? How are you doing? Yeah. We're nice, smile on their face. I guarantee you, if I was wearing a t-shirt and shorts, right, would have just passed right by me.
Yeah, it's that's just the truth. That's how people take judgment. People based on how you
dress. It's not. Is it fair? No, but do you stop at red lights? Well, I guess we're in South Florida. They don't. But if you stop your car at red lights, if you don't reach out and pet cobra snakes, right? If you don't drink Drano every day, like these are the same practical, tactical rules that you need to realize and going, so why don't I drink Drano? Because it's poison. Why do I stop my car when the light is red? Because I don't want to get in an accident. Wait a minute, then why am I walking around in a Land's End puffy vest and saying this is some universal Swiss Army knife of clothing that's going to be appropriate for everything, and then expect to get a date, to get a job, to keep the job, guys, to get promoted? I'm sorry, the people in the puffy vests, the people that blend in and are wearing the bare minimum or the logo stuff, or the stuff that everybody else is wearing because it's comfortable, they get freaking fired. Yeah. They get passed up. And is it fair? I don't know. Is stopping at a red light fair? You have to realize, guys, some of the time in life, you have to do certain things that maybe require an investment, maybe require you to change your habits. Sure. But when you do that, we're not attempting space travel here. I guarantee, like you say, test it. It's got to be almost amazing to you and the people that work with you at Adrian Jules, because I don't want to spoil the ending for everybody. There really is no test there. Yeah, it's 100%.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that I think that individuals, what I would also suggest, and as a next step, I would also take a look in the mirror. Just, is this somebody I want to do business with?
Yeah.
I mean, just take a look, take a real assessment and look at yourself in the mirror. And nobody's holding you, who you are today. Nobody's holding you to that. Like, you don't have to be the same person today as you are tomorrow. You could change tomorrow.
Thank you for saying that.
Like, you could decide that today I want to change tomorrow. I want to change my image. I want to build my personal brand, and I'm going to look different. I'm going to dress different, and people are going to treat me differently. You could do that tomorrow.
Somewhere out there, hi, if you're watching that, there's a guy that probably is going through a divorce right now. They're probably at a low point in their life. This is the easiest thing that you can do to absolutely literally like take your train off of one set of tracks and put it on another track. If this was $10 million, is it $10 million to work with Adrian, Jules? No. Right?
No.
If it was $10 million to work with Adrian, Jules, it would still be worth it. But whatever you think it costs, I would reach, if there's not, because you guys are pretty specialized in New York, find the Adrian Jules near you and at least hear them out, at least have a conversation. There is nothing that will change your life more. In in fact, even just the voice of what you say. I love how you said, take a look in the mirror. One of the things I always try and do for my barometer, like, am I doing the best I can in life? And I'm not saying with money or all that. I'm like, if my life was a movie, and I always think if Brad Pitt was playing me, but apparently maybe be Jason Statham or something with my stupid haircut and beard. But I always think, would the lead character in this movie be wearing this crap?
I like that.
You know what I mean? And it's like, does the lead character in this movie have to have, and I realize I have a problem, 452 sport coats? No. But I could have the exact same life that I have right now. Give me 4 sport coats, 4 suits, some nice tailored jeans, and I'm still the same. I still can command all the respect that I can.
For sure. I couldn't agree with
I wouldn't want to give up the 400 coats, but I got those because I would go out and somebody's like, man, that's an awesome jacket. Is that pick stitching? Man, that's so cool. You look so, by the way, if you notice his buttons, show them the buttons if you guys can see. See how these are undone? Once I started getting my clothes made, I realized these buttons, you can, if it's made well, you can actually unbutton it. And other people notice that, right? And they're like, wow, that's a really cool outfit. Where did you get that outfit? And it's like, whatever you invest in the outfit, I'm telling you, if nothing else happens, you're going to feel so darn good about yourself. And we don't know how much time we have on this earth. There's no point in walking around in a damn puffy vest when somebody could be going, man, you look really nice. That's a really sharp jacket. How do I get my husband one of those jackets? Yeah, right? Which I'm sure you hear all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
I'm not saying it to brag. I hear it all the time too. That's the good stuff in life. Yeah. Like, it's nice to get those compliments.
I think that individuals are always, they're chasing certainty and confidence. So I think that elevating your look gets you a little bit closer to they gets a little bit more certain. You get a little bit more confidence, and that's what we're going for. That's why we do your classes. Like, we want more certainty. We want in our presentation. So that's what by looking a certain way, you get more confidence. You feel good. You stand up a little bit taller. You got different energy. You just feel better, and you attract those things into your life. I think that, and you probably would agree. I wonder if you didn't embrace, looking a certain way, where would your life be right now? Like, what,
me personally?
Yeah, I'm just.
It wouldn't. I would still be the broke kid without because honestly, like I was famous in Boulder, Colorado. Everybody called me skinny because I was. I would ride around and I'd be like, I'll pick up your dog poop. I'll pull your weeds. I'll sweep up. I just want to learn. Sure. Right? Yeah. And so, and I had all these people that became mentors for me. They would not have wanted to hang out with me or let me into their houses if I wasn't, and was I wearing, in Adrian Jules' outfit? No, but I had taken notice of my appearance
100%.
before I left the house.
100%.
And I don't think I would have left that. I could have easily stayed on that road and been nothing against working at a gas station or whatever. My mom used to say, hey, maybe work at the gas station. You're never going to be a doctor or a lawyer. If I hadn't consciously made the mode to go, I want to look at least like I fit in that room. Once I get in the room, I'll figure it out. I don't think I'd be anywhere.
I want to stay on that for one more second. I couldn't agree more with this, that if you're in a company and you look a certain way, and say you're middle management or your VP or whatever it might be, the owners of the company, if you're dressing a certain way, they know that if they do bring you around to the country club, that you're going to look a certain way.
You're not going to embarrass the company.
Exactly.
You're not going to embarrass them. 100%.
Exactly. So they're willing. You just get more opportunities.
100%.
So just by the way that you dress, I mean, they're gonna invite you to those things, and then it's like I said before. Then it's up to you.
Right. But at least you have the shot.
You got the shot. You want the at bat. If you get the at bat.
Yeah. I can't agree with you more. How does somebody get in touch with your people at Adrian Jules? Where are you guys at? Sure. Tell them a little bit about how they can reach out to you and contact you if they're interested in learning and improving their life.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you again, Matt. And we're just here to help. You can find us right on the website, AdrianJulesCustomClothier.com. Our Instagram page and also Facebook page. We're all over social media. If you put it into Google, we're everywhere. YouTube, you can't miss us.
I love it. Guys, please if it's not with Peter, if it's not with Adrian Jules, make a conscious effort to go, hey, you know what? Life isn't fair, but I'm going to at least play by the way the rules are set up and work on your appearance. What do we need to get? We need to get a Navy suit. We need to get some nice jeans. We need to get, I would love it if they would get a sport coat.
A nice sport coat.
Boy, a nice sport coat will make life easy. Producer Ben, I see him walking around the studio today. He's wearing a nice sport coat, which is, why I love doing business with Producer Ben, right? And by the way, Producer Ben is a classic example. He's a world-class musician. He has every excuse in the world to not be wearing a sport coat. Yet I am the least famous person that Producer Ben works with because he focuses on his appearance.
No, I agree. I had first impressions. As soon as I met him, I'm like, oh, this is the real deal.
It's the real deal, right? It's so simple, guys.
First impressions.
Focus on your appearance. Casual Friday's a freaking scam. I'm serious. Don't participate in this stuff. And by the way, one last little point here. Yeah. I have probably been, quote unquote, overdressed a lot. I have never, ever been told you're overdressed. You know who tells me that kind of stuff? All the people wearing the puffy vests that got passed up for a promotion. That the world will try and get you to not talk to Peter Roberti because they want to wear pajamas on the airplane. Don't listen to them. Go talk to this man. Go talk to his team because there's cheat codes in life. And I honestly, that's why I was so excited to have you on here. I think this is the single biggest and easiest cheat code is to spend whatever it costs to get 4 or 5 outfits that you can rotate.
Couldn't agree more.
And you will be in a completely different person.
And even if you go out, just think about if you're going out to dinner with your wife or your significant other. By dressing a certain way, the whole night changes.
100%.
It's just enhanced. You just feel better. It's just it's a moment.
If you have kids, your kids, like the person having a divorce, when you pick your kids up or whatever and you're dressed nice, it's like, wow, I'm proud of my dad. It's amazing. Everything changes and there's nothing else. There is not one, name one. There's not one thing that we can do, one investment, whatever the cost, that will change more than what you're wearing. Is it fair? I don't know. I don't care. But I don't drink Drano. I don't pet cobra snakes. And I stop at red lights. Yeah. And damn it, if I'm going out, I wear a sport coat.
I love it.
Thank you guys for being on All the Answers. Thank you, Peter Roberti from Adrian Jules.
Thank you.
Please, guys, look up their website. Visit their social media. They've got great ideas for you. Even if you don't do business with them, you're going to see awesome, awesome ideas. Please do this. I will allow you to punch me directly in the face. I will. If you invest in your appearance, and when I say, because I'm not getting punched in the face for this one, do not go to the department stores and buy the thing with all the logos and all that crap on it. Just because a t-shirt costs $950 doesn't mean that's what you should be wearing. Go get a Navy suit, go get a sport coat, go get some pants. What's the weight that they need to look
9
for?
ounces. Stay around 9 ounces.
9 ounces. And what was that finish?
Clear finish. And if the tailor or custom tailor doesn't know what that is,
walk away.
Run away.
Okay.
Real fast.
If you do this and you're like, man, nothing happened. It's bunk. My thing's broken. If you do this and it does not work and you see me, you can punch me directly in the face. It will work. I promise you, your life will be better. You will get at least the attention. The conversation will start. You will be considered. What you do from that, that's on you. But if people ignore you, or worse, it's worse than getting ignored. Hey, we got to let some people go. What was the puffy vest guy's name? I think his name's Peter. Yeah, he's off the list. Right? He's off the team. What was that agent that we met with, the one with the puffy vest? I don't remember. Todd something. We're not going to go with him. Do this, guys. Your life will change. I promise you 100%. I'm putting my face on the line. Make the change. Do it. I feel like my work on this planet is done if I can get you guys to do this, because pure happiness is headed your way. Yeah. Or at least pure opportunity. And before any happiness, you have to have the opportunity.
Amen.
Love you, brother. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Appreciate it. Thank you.